नमस्कार।
Good evening. This is Akashvani. I am Valsa Williams with the news at 9. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts that Women's Reservation Bill is no ordinary law but announcement of New India's new democratic commitment. Prime Minister interacts with Team G20 at Bharat Mandapam in Delhi, gives them credit for success of G20 Summit. Government increases ex-gratia relief in train accidents by 10 times. India lodges strong protest against China's obstruction of some Indian sportspersons from Asian Games in Hangzhou. At the Asian Games, India stormed into quarterfinal of men's volleyball, beating Chinese Taipei 3-0 in pool stage clash at Hangzhou. And in cricket, Australia set a target of 277 runs before India in first ODI of three-match series in Mohali. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asserted that the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam or Women's Reservation Bill is no ordinary law but announcement of New India's new democratic commitment. Addressing the Nari Shakti Vandan Abhinandan Karyakram at BJP headquarters in New Delhi today, he said the passage of the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam or Women's Reservation Bill in the Parliament is an indication that a strong and decisive government with full majority is required to take the country forward.
महिला आरक्षण के लिए इतने दशकों से कोशिश तो हो रही थी, 3 दशक से बात हो रही थी, नहीं हो पा रहा था। आज ये संभव हुआ है। मैं जरा आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, ये संभव कैसे हो पाया? ये आपने किया है, करोड़ों देशवासियों ने किया है। और ये कैसे किया है? उसका एक सबसे बड़ा कारण है देश की जनता ने, देश के मतदाताओं ने, विशेष करके मेरी माताओं बहनों ने वोट दे करके एक पूर्ण बहुमत वाली मजबूत सरकार बनाई।
Mr. Modi congratulated every woman of the country on passage of the bill. He said Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam is an announcement of New India's new democratic commitment.
आने वाली अनेकों पीढ़ियों तक इस निर्णय की चर्चा होगी, इस दिवस की चर्चा होगी। मैं पूरे देश को नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम संसद के दोनों सदनों में और भारी बहुमत से और राज्यसभा में तो सर्वसम्मति से पास होने की बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ।
The Prime Minister highlighted various initiatives taken by the government in the last 9 years towards women's empowerment. Speaking on the occasion, BJP National President J.P. Nadda said these decisions focused on empowering women will lead to a change in the landscape and destiny of India. The Parliament yesterday passed the Constitution 128th Amendment Bill 2023, which seeks to reserve 1/3 of the total number of seats for women in the Lok Sabha state legislative assemblies and Delhi Assembly. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with the women of Varanasi tomorrow on the Women's Reservation Bill, which was passed by Parliament yesterday. This interaction program, termed as Nari Shakti Vandan Abhinandan Karyakram, will be the first such public platform where the Prime Minister will speak on the Women's Reservation Bill after its approval from the Parliament. The interaction program will be held at Sampurnanand Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya in Varanasi. Around 5,000 women, including intellectuals and famous personalities of Varanasi, are scheduled to participate in this program. Talking to Akashvani News, District Panchayat President Poonam Maurya expressed happiness over the passage of the Women's Reservation Bill.
कल संपूर्णानंद में 5,000 महिलाएं जो है आएंगी काशी में और उनसे प्रधानमंत्री जी वार्तालाप भी करेंगे और उनका स्वागत अभिनंदन भी करेंगे। और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो परसों एक बहुत ऐतिहासिक काम किया है, जो 33% महिला आरक्षण पे बिल पास हुआ है, मैं सोचती हूँ बहुत बड़ा कदम है और प्रधानमंत्री की जो सोच है उनको मैं प्रणाम करती हूँ। निश्चित तौर पे महिलाओं को आगे जो आरक्षण मिलना है, राजनीति में बहुत बड़ी भागीदारी रहेगी और काफी राजनीति में महिलाएं अगर आएंगी तो मुझे लगता है कि समाज में बहुत कुछ बदलेगा और सामाजिक सोच बदलेगी।
During the visit to his parliamentary constituency tomorrow, the Prime Minister is scheduled to take part in the launch of various development programs. He will lay the foundation stone of the International Cricket Stadium in Varanasi. The Prime Minister will also visit Rudraksh International Cooperation and Convention Centre and participate in the closing ceremony of Kashi Sansad Sanskritik Mahotsav 2023. He will also inaugurate 16 Atal Avasiya Vidyalaya built across Uttar Pradesh during the program. Talking to Akashvani News, Director General Atal Avasiya Vidyalaya Nisha Anand said the focus of these schools is on providing quality education to the children of labourers.
ये अटल आवासीय विद्यालय जो बनाए जा रहे हैं, इसमें मुख्यतः जो बच्चे हम लोगों ने यहाँ के लिए चिन्हित किए हैं वो निर्माण श्रमिकों के बच्चे और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री बाल सेवा योजना सामान्य के बच्चे, जिसमें मुख्यतः जिनके जो बच्चे निराश्रित हैं वो बच्चे यहाँ पर प्रवेश करेंगे। और हम लोगों ने इस वर्ष कक्षा 6 में हर विद्यालय में 80 बच्चे लिए हैं और ये आवासीय विद्यालय हैं।
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held discussions with his counterparts from Quad countries in New York today. The minister is in New York, where he is leading the Indian delegation for the high-level week at the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly. In a social media post, Dr. Jaishankar said during the meeting with his Quad colleagues, they discussed defending the rules-based international order in the Indo-Pacific and delivering on Quad commitments. He also held a meeting with Foreign Minister of Japan, Yoko Kamikawa, and exchanged perspectives on the special strategic and global partnership between India and Japan. They discussed regional, multilateral and global cooperation and taking them forward. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today gave credit for the G20 Summit success to Team G20, who worked at the ground level to ensure smooth conduct of the summit. Interacting with officials involved in the G20 Summit at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi this evening, Mr. Modi urged everyone present to document their experiences so that these can serve as guidelines for future events. He said a successful G20 Summit was possible as a result of tireless efforts by the hard-working ground functionaries.
ये ऐसा तो नहीं है कि कमियां नहीं रही होगी, ऐसा तो नहीं है जो चाहा था उसमें 99 के नीचे रहे नहीं होंगे, कोई 94 पहुंचे होंगे, कोई 99 पहुंचे और कोई 102 भी हो गए होंगे, लेकिन कुल मिलाकर के एक क्यूमुलेटिव इफेक्ट था। वो इफेक्ट देश के सामर्थ्य को, विश्व को उसके दर्शन कराने में हमारी सफलता थी। ये जो घटना की सफलता है वो G20 की सफलता और दुनिया में 10 एडिटोरियल छप जाए, इससे मोदी का कोई लेना देना नहीं है। मेरे लिए आनंद का विषय ये है कि अब मेरे देश में एक ऐसा विश्वास पैदा हो गया है कि ऐसे किसी भी काम को वे अच्छे से अच्छे ढंग से कर सकता है।
This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. The government has increased the amount of ex-gratia relief paid to the dependents of deceased and injured passengers involved in train accidents by 10 times. The Ministry of Railways said as per the revision, an amount of 5 lakh rupees will be given to the kin of the deceased person. In case of death earlier, 50,000 rupees was liable to be paid by the Railway Administration. In case of grievous injury, this amount has been revised from 25,000 rupees to 2.5 lakh rupees, and in case of simple injury from 5,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees. However, this ex gratia will be given only if Railways is found prima facie liable. The ministry further added that in case of any untoward incident, an ex gratia of 1,50,000 rupees will be provided for death cases, 50,000 rupees for grievous injury and 5,000 rupees for simple injury. The Railways Ministry said additional ex gratia relief for 30 days will also be provided to hospitalized passengers under the grievously injured category. The ministry said maximum amount of up to 50,000 rupees will be paid in cash as an immediate relief for taking care of initial expenses. Minister of State for Health Bharati Praveen Pawar has said that over 51,000 Ayushman Melas were held under Ayushman Bhava campaign in the first 5 days. Briefing media in New Delhi today, Ms. Pawar said over 21 lakh people participated in the campaign. She said 55 lakh testing and screening took place in the period and over 4,700 surgeries were performed. The minister said 5,600 blood donation camps were held and over 42,000 units of blood collected. She said over 8 lakh Ayushman cards were generated in 5 days of Ayushman Bhava campaign and nearly 20 lakh Abha IDs were created. Ms. Pawar said over 17 lakh people received free medicine in the first 5 days of Ayushman Bhava campaign. The digital inclusion in the health sector has garnered a lot of praise. The Ayushman Bharat digital mission has various aspects to it, and one of them is Ayushman Bharat Health Account Abha IDs. In an exclusive interview to Akashvani News, Secretary Ministry of Health and Family Welfare Sudhansh Pant said more than 45 crore Abha IDs have been created so far.
आभा आईडी के साथ साथ जितने हमारे स्वास्थ्य सुविधाएं हैं, जितने अस्पताल चाहे निजी क्षेत्र में, सरकारी क्षेत्र में, जितने डायग्नोस्टिक सेंटर, पीएचसी, सीएचसी, हेल्थ वेलनेस सेंटर, शहरी में, ग्रामीण में, सभी की इसमें मैपिंग होती है। उसी तरह वो भी सबका डिजिटल एक रिकॉर्ड रहेगा, कहां पर कितनी सुविधाएं हैं, किस स्तर की सुविधाएं हैं, वहां कितने बेड हैं। इसी तरह हमारे जो हेल्थ पर्सनल है, वो सभी देश में कितने हमारे पास ह्यूमन रिसोर्स है, एक एक की उसमें मैपिंग होगी, एक एक को अलग अलग आईडी दिया जाएगा, पहचान हो जाएगी।
Abha ID is a unique health account number for every citizen of the country. Tune into Akashvani News to listen to this exclusive broadcast at 9:15 p.m. on FM Gold and additional frequencies of Akashvani News. Benchmark indices failed to sustain gains today and ended lower for the fourth session in a row. Trade remained volatile as the market seesawed between gains and losses. As the BSE Sensex was down 221 points, Nifty slumped and reached below 19,700. A report from the business desk.
At close, Sensex was down 221 points, or 0.3% at 66,009 points, and Nifty was down 68 points, or 0.3% at 19,674. At the foreign exchange market, the rupee got stronger and closed at 82 rupees and 93 paise against the US dollar. Gold was trading up today at the multi-commodity exchange for October contracts. The precious metal appreciated by 50 rupees to trade at 58,872 rupees per 10 grams. Arjun Chaudhary for Akashvani News.
India has lodged a strong protest in New Delhi and Beijing against China's obstruction of some of the country's sportspersons from the Asian Games. In response to media queries on some Indian sportspersons being denied entry into the 19th Asian Games, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Narendra Modi said India firmly rejects differential treatment of Indian citizens on the basis of domicile or ethnicity. He reiterated that Arunachal Pradesh was, is and will always remain an integral and inalienable part of India. The spokesperson said India has learned that the Chinese authorities have discriminated against some sportspersons from Arunachal Pradesh by denying them accreditation and entry to the 19th Asian Games in Hangzhou, China. As a mark of protest against the Chinese action, Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur has cancelled his scheduled visit to China for the Games. He said India reserves the right to take suitable measures to safeguard the country's interests. At the ongoing Asian Games at Hangzhou in China, Indian athletes were in action in table tennis and volleyball today. Indian men's volleyball team continued their dream run in the Games. The world number 73 side India defeated higher-ranked opponent and world number 43 Chinese Taipei 3-0, 25-22, 25-22, 25-21 in a pool stage match to enter the quarterfinal of the tournament. Now India will take on former Olympic champion and two-time World Championship medalist Japan in a clash of the last 8 on Sunday. In table tennis, the Indian men's team began their campaign in the tournament with a comfortable 3-0 victory over Yemen in the group stage clash, and the women's team then edged Singapore women 3-2 in the day's final tie against the Singapore men's team. G Satyan won 2 matches and Harmeet Desai won to guide India to a 3-1 win. Though the 19th edition of Asian Games is set to officially kick off from tomorrow, some events have already begun. In cricket, chasing a target of 277 runs set by Australia, India were 234 for 4 in 42.1 overs in the first one-day international of the 3-match series in Mohali when reports last came in. The visitors were all out for 276 in 50 overs. Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts that women's reservation bill is no ordinary law but announcement of New India's new democratic commitment. Prime Minister interacts with Team G20 at Bharat Mandapam in Delhi, gives them credit for success of G20 Summit. Accidents by 10 times. India lodges strong protest against China's obstruction of some Indian sportspersons from Asian Games in Hangzhou. At the Asian Games, India stormed into quarterfinal of men's volleyball, beating Chinese Taipei 3-0 in pool stage clash at Hangzhou. And in cricket, Australia set a target of 277 runs before India in first ODI of 3-match series in Mohali. That is all in the news at 9. Good night.